Let's sort of discuss BRICS for a moment, because India is a founding member with China of BRICS, and BRICS is expanding. I mean, whatever you think of BRICS, it's a popular club, and people keep knocking on the door. It's, added new members. Donald Trump recently said, if you join BRICS, we'll consider that to be the act of an enemy. Now, I suspect Trump was referring to Mexico, the fear that Mexico might be considering joining BRICS. But one of the fears, I think, in the United States, personally I think is heavily overblown, is that BRICS creates an alternative to the dollar. Is there any conceivable circumstance, any of you, but Shaurya first, where India and China would agree on an alternative currency?
So I think at least in the foreseeable future, let's say for the next at least 20, 25 years, all analysis that you do, there is no risk to the dollar being replaced as a currency. It's just a professional fact, right? Because and just the amount of volume of trade, the volume of investment that goes through. So we don't see the dollar being under threat by any. The dollar stands on its own strength as the reserve currency of the world. Having said that, it is but fair for larger economies to come and find ways for them to be able to ease and lower the cost of transactions of the financial system. The very fact that the United States used the dollar as a way to, at times, to further its political interests, and has used that as a weapon, has created legitimate fears among nations across the world that is this indeed a reserve currency and a fair trading system. And therefore, either it is for the United States to politically outreach these countries and assure them that they will not use the dollar as a currency for political interests, and lay there. Otherwise, some attempts will be made for nations to try and see what they can do in an eventuality that they are in a position where the United States is using the dollar as a way of furthering their political interests.
Well, I mean, there is an example right now. There's a bill going through the Senate. It's a bipartisan bill, Lindsey Graham and Senator Blumenthal, to give Trump the power to impose secondary sanctions, quite steep, 200, 300%, on countries that buy sanctioned exports from Russia, notably oil and gas. And India is, of course, the largest customer, I believe. And it's cheap, and Indians like cheap energy, like anybody. What would that do if that bill goes through and India suddenly finds itself with 200% sanctions?
Well, I think it's early to predict what India will do at that point in time. But as I said, that has been articulated by successive Indian times by the Indian Foreign Minister and the Indian government, that India will act on its solely on its interests, that on India's interests. So I think if India's interests still stack up, India will do what is the right thing for it to do. But I don't think it is fair for United States or to pressurize the BRICS on the back of seeking the rise of seeing the BRICS as a way of a political sort of slugfest. The BRICS is an economic cooperation. If the United States wants to outpace the economic cooperation, as it has done in the past, it must do on the basis of its own economic brilliance, on its own economic rationale for the BRIC nations to be worried about not losing the ability to trade or invest in America. But I think of late, this is this thing of using it as a political instrument only will further consolidate not just BRICS but more associations like the BRICS against the United States.
Sachin?
I think it's pure fear-mongering, because just take a step back. Post-Second World War, the UN Security Council, NATO, etc., institution-based functioning of global affairs, but people who populate the earth, South America, Africa, India, don't have a place in the Security Council. This is the global reality. Now, if BRICS comes together as a platform, it's only a credible voice of the South. And nothing the BRICS has ever done which challenges anything that's of US interest. So I think it's fear-mongering to talk about currency replacement, etc. I think that's coming anytime soon. But when US forms multiple alliances, there was NAFTA earlier, a BRICS or a Quad, we have a Quad as well, right? So there's a counterbalance to everything. But India on its own is becoming parts of many willing parties to come together to voice concern on climate change, on reducing inequality, on mitigating fossil fuel emissions. All these efforts need collaboration with willing minds, willing parties, willing countries. There's nothing wrong for India to be a part of those institutions moving along. But like I said, you have to change the institutional framework which has guided the world for the last 70-odd years. This is a new reality. And we cannot play the same game with the old instruments and expect things to change. So if we have to move forward, we have to reform, we have to be accepting of the new reality, and treat as partners people who are willing to work with you. So I don't think this BRICS threat of adding tariffs, it has a shelf life. This threatening, restrictive, tariff and excise and blockaging of free movement of trade and goods. That's what the US championed for 50 years. I think people across the globe benefited from it, but now we're seeing a whole reversal in that trend.
In a world where business never stops, Mint keeps you ahead, any screen, anytime. From studios to the ground, Mint breaks down business, leadership, and lifestyle, boldly, visually, and smartly. From boardrooms to markets, from personal wealth to industry trends, we bring you the insights that matter.
Mint is doing brilliantly well. It's a well-read page, I would think.
What fuels India's biggest CEOs? Ride along and find out.
I have to work that much harder. I have to put that much more in.
Over the years.
Yes.
Earlier I could say, no, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
But now I can.
Want to invest like the pros? Learn from India's top market experts.
Things like that worry me about markets.
I don't want to buy a house to invest in.
Your money, your future. We make finance simple. Step inside breathtaking homes and the creative minds behind them.
So we are at the house in Camellias. I think Camellias is the most expensive property in the NCR and probably the most expensive in the country.
India's real estate scene decoded. No jargon, no fluff.
Home buyers will have more bargaining power.
It's a great time to buy a house as well.
Some chase success, others create it. Meet the ones who made the impossible possible.
I don't want to be a doctor, I don't want to be an engineer, I don't want to be an accountant. That's the most fragile thing. Poof, it will go away.
वो ताली ऐसी थी ना, इतनी addictive थी, मैंने कहा बॉस अब तो यही होगा.
We don't just talk business, we show it, and the world's watching.